in New York City. I was there for a couple weeks. I was in a cubicle next to this other cubicle. This woman named Misha sat in the other cubicle. I want to get the number right. I think Misha had about 900,000 photos of her daughter up in her cubicle. Almost like she was trying to solve a conspiracy about her daughter. A Beautiful Mind style. I think about Misha 2 times a week. Because of a phone call she had next to me one day. It was one of my first days, and I was sitting next to her, and her phone rang, and this was her call, and I'm quoting. Her phone rang, and she said, "Hello, hush!" And then she hung up. Think about that 2 times a week. And I didn't know her well enough by then to be like, "Hey, what kind of a person are you, you know?" Who could she have been talking to? Hello, hush! This was a place of business. My only thought was that it was like the CEO of the company being like, "Misha, help, I'm doing a crossword puzzle. I need a 4-letter word for be quiet right now. Hush, you're promoted." I tempted a little web company on 25th Street in New York City. It was a small web company owned by this old man who was old money New York. His name was Henry J. Finch IV. Like old money. Like his money was in molasses or something. He owned this web company. I have no idea why he owned this web company. I think he won it in a rich man's game of like dice and small binoculars or something. Mr. Finch wore linen suits. He had suspenders. He had a bow tie. He had a hat. He had a cane with an ivory handle. I'm giving you more description than you need because I need you to believe me. This was a real person I knew in the 21st century. Mr. Finch was in his 70s. He had an assistant named Mary. She was in her 50s. She was Korean. I don't know why he had an assistant. He did not need one, unless he needed someone to be like, "Remember, Mr. Finch, at 5 o'clock, you need to keep looking like a hard-boiled egg." One day, Mr. Finch came into the office. It had been raining. Everything I'm about to say to you was said in front of me on that afternoon. Mr. Finch walked into the office, and he was wearing a raincoat, and he was wearing a rain hat, and he had his cane. And he walked in, and he said, and I'm quoting, "Ah! One feels like a duck splashing around in all this wet. And when one feels like a duck, one is happy." And then Mary yelled, "Ooh, ducklings!" To which Mr. Finch replied, "Too old to be a duckling, quack, quack," and then walked into his office. I think about that every goddamn day. I mean, imagine you're me. You're a 22-year-old temp, and you're so hungover, and you just want to die every day. And then that happens in front of you, and I don't know, gives you hope? And I did that a little fast. Let me break that conversation down for you. Mr. Finch walked in, and he began a conversation the way anyone would. "Ah! One feels like a duck splashing around in all this wet," the rain. "And when one feels like a duck, one is happy." Now that's debatable. But rather than debate that point, Mary brought up a new, separate but interesting point, which was ducklings. But Mr. Finch, ever the realist about his own age and mortality, said, "Ah, too old to be a duckling," as if to say, my duckling days are behind me. "Mary, don't you see, I'm a duck now." And to prove it, well, I'll say just about the most famous catchphrase a duck has. Quack, quack. And I knew right at that moment, by the way, that it meant nothing to Mr. Finch what he had said. Crazy people are like that. They have unlimited crazy currency. Like if I'd gone into his office a couple weeks later and been like, "Hey, Finch, you remember that time you were like too old to be a duckling, quack, quack?" He would just be like, "Ah, perhaps I did quack, but such is life for an old knickerbocker like me." Like he'd say something else crazy. That's the wonderful thing about crazy people, you know, is that they just have unlimited currency. The things they say mean nothing to them, but they mean everything to me. I was once walking into Penn Station in New York. I was walking down 31st Street towards 8th Avenue. I'm walking down 31st, there's this woman standing at 8th and 31st. I have my little roller suitcase, you can all imagine. I'm walking towards her, she's smoking a cigarette that is not lit anymore. She's watching me walk, kind of scanning me up and down, as if she had Terminator vision, where she could see little bits of data, like, little honky ass, and could read information. As I walked past her, she said this to me. I walked past her and she said, and I'm quoting, "Eat ass, suck a dick, and sell drugs." Very dirty, yes? A very upsetting thing to hear, yes? I'm sorry you all had to hear that, but at least you all got to hear it as a group. I was alone out there that afternoon. And she said this totally unprompted. Eat ass, suck a dick, and sell drugs. It wasn't like I had paused in front of her and been like, what should I do with my life? So I walk away from her with this to-do list. And I like structure, I like a to-do list. It did dawn on me that that list of things does get better as it goes along, when you really think about it, because it starts in a pretty rough place. It starts with just about the worst task a to-do list can start with. But by the end, you have your own small business. And isn't that the American dream when all's said and done? That if you eat enough ass and suck enough dick, one day you can sell drugs. Imagine you did all that to sell drugs and then they legalized drugs and you were like, but I... This has been a real thrill to perform here, by the way. I just want to say that in all sincerity. Thanks for coming to this. Really, really appreciate it. I want to tell you one more story before I get out of here about the night I met a guy named Bill Clinton. Now, some of you know who that is? For those of you that don't, he was president of the United States from 1993 until 2001, and he is a smooth and fantastic hillbilly who should be declared Emperor of the United States of America. Now, I know you know who Bill Clinton is, but I was doing a show at a college, and I mentioned Bill Clinton, and, they kind of didn't know who he was. They knew the name, right? But they only knew this 2015 Bill Clinton, who's a very different Bill Clinton. Have you seen his ass lately? What the hell is he trying to pull? He's all thin now, and he wears these little tight suits, and he's got these grandpa reading glasses, like, hey, I can't do nothing to nobody no more, you know? Oh, me, I'm just an old man. I don't have the appetites, you know? And he's always flying around the world with Bill Gates trying to cure AIDS. That is not the Bill Clinton that we all signed up for 20 years ago. Our Bill Clinton was like a big, fat Buddy Garrity from Friday Night Lights looking guy who played the saxophone on Arsenio, and his work in the STD community was not in curing anything at that time. That was the man we all elected president. That was the Bill Clinton that I met. I got to meet Bill Clinton when he was Governor Clinton in 1992, when he was first running for president. And I got to meet Bill Clinton because my parents had gone to the same college as Bill Clinton. They were a little younger, but they went to the same college. So when he was first running for president, he would have all these big, alumni fundraisers, and everyone who went was invited to go. Now, this was really cool for a couple reasons. One, I got to meet Bill Clinton. But two, I got to watch my parents watch someone they went to school with become the president. And that is super funny to see, because think about some of the people you went to school with. Now imagine they're becoming the president. Imagine Sam was becoming the president. It would stir up strong emotions. And my parents had very different opinions on Bill Clinton. My mom loved Bill Clinton, because Bill Clinton was always a really charismatic, handsome guy. I mean, think about how many women he got in the 1990s when he looked like Frank Caliendo doing John Madden. Now, imagine him as a college student. And my mom tells me that there was this sort of chivalrous policy on campus back then, where late at night, if female students were leaving the library unaccompanied, male students were encouraged to wait out in front and offer to walk them home. That sounds good, right? So my mom tells me that Bill Clinton would be out in front of the library every single night, just being like, hey, can I walk you home? 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 And one night, my mom was leaving the library, and Bill Clinton was like, hey, can I walk you home? And my mom was like, hell yes. So, this is absolutely true. My mom, little Ellen Stanton, walked arm in arm with Bill Clinton to her dorm, and she was like, you know, I wanted to invite him up for a beer, and I was like, thanks, I'm 9, but... Her roommate was upstairs, so she lost her chance with Bill Clinton. Now, my dad, on the other hand, hated Bill Clinton because my parents were dating during this time. And also, my dad's a much more, like, morally upright, conservative kind of guy. He always told me that he hated it in college that Bill Clinton could, quote, get away with anything. Can you imagine how he felt later? So one day, this invitation arrives for a fundraiser where you can meet Bill Clinton. My mom opens it first, and she goes, oh, we have to go. We have to go see Bill. And without looking up at her, my dad just says, why? It's not like he's gonna remember you. One black coffee. Same motherfucker. So my mom says, fine, I'll go and I'll take John. And I was like, hell yeah. And I slid in the room in my first communion suit, ready to go. Because I loved Bill Clinton. I was 10 years old. If you were a kid when Bill Clinton was first released, it was the most exciting thing ever. We'd never seen a cool politician before. And he would go on MTV and he'd have cool answers to kids' questions. They'd be like, Governor, what's your favorite food? And he'd be like, I don't know, fries. And we'd be like, yay, we eat fries. I learned to play his campaign song on the piano. It was Don't Stop by Fleetwood Mac. From Rumors, an album written by and for people cheating on each other. He let us know who he was right away.